Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us right here on TV47. The show is this Friday with me, Betty Kialo. So I trust that you've had a fantastic week. I know that it has been very, very chilly and wet right here in Nairobi. I hope you're home, keeping home safe, and of course with your family. So tonight we have a fantastic show, of course, lined up for you. On the show tonight, we have comprehensive coverage of the day's events as well as your favorite segments. I'm talking about Willis Ochieng, who's on standby in Kisii County. As you know, we have to say a hello before we get to the show tonight. Willis, how are you tonight? How are you feeling? Are you great? Are you warm? All right, Willis is right there on standby in Kisii County for the show and the segment Which is Which. Remember, just tweet us on X all the names that you want us to have Willis help us pronounce. But of course, also tonight, we have a very interesting conversation where we selected a number of brilliant, well-informed Gen Z to have a sit down and so that we can actually just know what their eyes are on, of course, on the state of the nation. Well, they have been at the forefront of major political issues, changes and temperatures, and it was just prudent to also host these visionaries here on the show. So they will be joining me later on in the show just to talk to us about what their feeling is currently about the state of affairs right here in the country. For brilliant Gen Z to talk to Leo head on. Looking forward to that. But of course, it's going to be a great show. Let's begin the show with the highlights.
Anaogopa kutoa inaitwa ushahidi kulingana na venye kuko sahi.
Families of those killed during the anti-government protests now fear that they might not get justice.
Wafanye uchunguzi ndio ijulikane mwenye alitenda hicho kitendo.
The LSK vows to fight on.
Nimeunda serikali ya kuunganisha Wakenya. Nikasema Wakenya wote waungane.
President Ruto and his deputy defend move to incorporate members of the opposition to the cabinet.
Which region got what, which one lost, which one didn't, who is strong, who is not. I think the whole thing is a win for the people of Kenya.
As the clergy insists the new cabinet will not heal the country.
Hiyo uteuzi haikuwa ya huru na ya haki.
Witchcraft blamed for the spike in hepatitis B cases in Baringo County. Stakeholders in the health sector paint a grim picture.
Well, welcome to this Friday. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's start the show tonight. Now, tonight, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have embarked on a countrywide campaign to drum up support for the new cabinet secretary nominees, saying they will unite Kenyans. Well, Ruto, who is on a 4-day development tour of the coast region, expressed confidence in the region's nominees Hassan Joho and Salim Vuria, saying they will deliver. And as Apollo Kamau reports, a petitioner has moved to court challenging the nomination of opposition figures to the cabinet. Well, I understand we'll be bringing you that story in just a short while. But of course, moving on to part of our coverage tonight, and we understand that families of those killed in the anti-government protests now fear they might not get justice after all, especially after the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions announced that they have returned investigation files to the Independent Policing Authority for lack of audience. Well, parents of Rex Masai and Evans Kiratu now hint at the possibility of a cover-up, and Samira Mohammed will be telling us more about that particular leading story. But moving on, immediate former Public Service Secretary, Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria is speaking out tonight, seemingly accusing the government he served as CS of failing Kenyans. Well, Kuria joined mourners in a funeral in Ukambani, also graced by a section of area leaders who called out on ODM leader Raila Odinga for not being honest. Paul Kirobi has the details of this.
Few days after President William Ruto made what he says is a creation of a broad-based government that ended up accommodating members from the opposition coalition, the move has forced emergence of rift in President Ruto's Kenya Kwanza coalition that accommodated several parties before the 2022 general election. Former Cabinet Secretary for Trade Moses Kuria is now accusing the leadership of Kenya Kwanza for failing to deliver its promises to Kenyans, despite having an ambitious plan.
Tulikuwa na shida. Mambo mingi sana tumeweza. Lakini mnajua kuna ile fund inaitwa Hustler Fund. Watu milioni 12 wamekopa pesa ya Hustler Fund. Wametoroka nayo. Tukajaribu kuwafuata, imetushinda. Tukaambia Oparanya, unaonekana hiyo kazi unaweza kuja utafuta hiyo pesa. Watu milioni 12 ambao wanakuja.
The developments are keen to reliving events after the March 2018 handshake between then President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition chief Raila Odinga, which gave birth to a splinter faction within the ruling coalition of those disgruntled by Raila's entry to government.
Kwa sababu kule mlimani tuliambiwa kuna mzee ni mganga ni mchawi, saa hii tumeona ameingia kwa urubaro, orange iko juu ya urubaro na namna hiyo iko express. Sasa mimi maneno ya mganga mchawi na juu ya wirobaro, machungwa iko juu ya wirobaro, mimi hapana.
And as families continue to cry for their loved ones, Makueni Governor Mutula Kilonzo says it was unfair for Raila to forgo the interest of Gen Z, yet a good number of young people died defending their country, only to end up having a handshake with President Ruto. Makueni MP Dan Manzo is now pushing to have law on victim compensation as part of ensuring justice is served to those who were affected by the recent demonstration.
We have also said all the other victims, all the children who have been killed, everybody who is injured, they must be compensated.
I am just left with questions. Did young children have to die for ODM to get seats in government?
The recent move of Azimio coalition pushing for its leaders to be part of the government now sets the ball rolling in Kenya's political arena. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
The Gen Z movement now says it will advocate to have social media recognized as public participation forum. Well, this comes amid questions on the way forward for the youngsters who seem to be losing the momentum in their agitation for change and accountability after allegations were made that their protests turned violent. Sheila Chalangat with more.
This protest led by Gen Z began as a movement against the Finance Bill 2024, and from there their list of demands grew from reconstitution of IEBC, the withdrawing of the cabinet, auditing of public debt, and even recalling of all members of parliament. And after the mega protest on the 25th of June, only one of their demands was met, that of the withdrawing of the Finance Bill. However, no sooner did they start seeing semblance of light at the end of the tunnel than things seemed to go back as they were. Case in point, the nomination of previous members of the dismissed cabinet and a seeming return to the budgets of the offices of the spouses.
We are telling the members of parliament, those names will come to you the way the finance bill came to you. You must reject the cabinet, all of them.
And so on the what next for these protesters, they have further demands.
That the office of the president immediately issues a status report to Kenyans on the state of investigations of the 60 killings of our comrades in the recent protests. 2, that the office of the president immediately confirms and shares with the public the official number, names, and details of comrades killed in the recent protests.
Today, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has condemned those who hijacked peaceful Generation Z protests to settle political scores.
There are even more idiots and more idiotic as those who try to take advantage of the whole scenario to settle political scores with those they don't support or those they have a problem with. People know that Kenyans are also very intelligent people. People of this great country have come of age. They see from far, they analyze, and they know.
Not all is lost, however, as the young generation now say they plan to advocate for changes that could see Kenyans directly engage with their leaders through the digital world.
Digital activism as a formal method of public participation This will guarantee that Kenyans have a direct say to the management and future of our country by integrating digital platforms into our civic processes.
This comes as plans are rife on various social media platforms of a mega protest to be held on the 8th of next month. Sheila Chelangat for TV 47.
All right, moving back to our top story tonight, and President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have embarked on a countrywide campaign to drum up support for the new cabinet secretary nominees, saying they will unite Kenyans. Well, Ruto, who is on a 4-day development tour of the coast region, expressed confidence in the region's nominees, Hassan Joho and Salim Mvurya, saying they will deliver. And as Apollo Kamau reports, a petitioner has moved to court challenging the nomination of opposition figures to the cabinet.
Keen to win support among Kenyans who have accused him of recycling the same faces on his second cabinet, President William Ruto used his 4-day coast development tour to drum up support for the cabinet in Azimio coalition leader Raila Odinga's traditional political base, where the reception was positive. Ruto using the coastal trip to promote his new cabinet, saying it will unite Kenya and deliver, singling out Hassan Joho and Salim Mvurya, who come from the region.
Na wauliza nyinyi watu wa Mombasa na Pwani, munakubaliana na mimi tuunde serikali ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote? Hebu nione wala wanasema tunakubali. Ni sawa hiyo? Mumempatia ruhusa Ali Hassan Joho afanye kazi na mimi kama waziri wa taifa letu la Kenya. Mumenipatia Salim Mvurya asimamie mambo ya biashara na investment katika taifa letu la Kenya. Hawa wangwana wawili kutoka Pwani, mimi niko na imani kwao. Huyu Salim Mvurya alisimamia sekta hii ya uchumi samawati kwa ustadi mkubwa. Mimi naelewa na najua ya kwamba Joho atakuja kufanya hivyo.
The broad-based government posing a challenge to the region's political rivalry, especially in Mombasa, between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza leaders, Governor Abdul Somad Sharif, former Governor Hassan Joho, Nyali MP Mohamed Ali, Yala MP and former Mombasa Senator Hassan Omar.
Hii leo umemchagua ndugu Hassan Ali Joho. Mimi nina imani ya kwa wengi hapa ni wenye kukubali ya kwa Hassan Ali Joho is fit for this docket.
Rais, unajua kuna watu walisema sasa Joho ameingia, Mohamed Ali atafanya nini? Sasa kwa mimi kuwajibu, Mohamed Ali atafanya jambo moja peke yake. Mohamed Ali kesho ataenda kwa supermarket, atanunua wheelbarrow za UDA, nimpatie Joho moja asukume, nimpatie Abdul Samad moja, nimpatie senator moja, alafu tubebe machungwa yote ya Mombasa ili Kenya isonge mbele.
The president's tour also served to salvage his political fortunes in Kilifi County, where he assured residents he will stand with the former CS Aisha Jumwa.
Mimi nawaambia watu wa Kilifi, hebu mnisikize kwa makini. Huyu dada yangu Aisha Jumwa huyo hapo, huyo ni dada yangu, na mimi nataka niwahakikishie huyu mama atatembea na mimi sambamba hapa kwa hapa. Huyu mama simuachi bwana.
Mimi Aisha Jumwa nilimwamini Mheshimiwa Ruto na muamini Mheshimiwa Ruto kwa sababu kile anachokiona akiwa ameketi mimi siwezi kukiona kama nimesimama.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua defended the new cabinet, saying it represents the face of Kenya, while dismissing critics, arguing that some regions lost out in the appointments.
All sorts of analysts and newspaper people and commentators commenting about gains and losses. Which region got what, which one lost, which one didn't, who is strong, who is not. I think the whole thing is a win for the people of Kenya. And for us as a region, we are very happy that Mercy adds our numbers. And we are very proud of our performance from a daughter of this region.
Na kwa hivyo ni wakati mzuri rais uweze kusimama kindete kama vile ambavyo umefanya. Umechagua mawaziri wako au mawaziri wamaliziwe kazi ya vetting, waende kazi, wasaidie hao wananchi waweze kusaidika na maendeleo ambayo walituchagua ili tuweze kuwafanyia.
An activist, Julius Gogo, has filed a petition to stop the appointment of opposition leaders to the cabinet, arguing the appointment conflicts with their constitutional mandate of oversighting the government. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Now, activists sigh of relief as Boniface Mwangi, together with other 4 suspects who were arrested of allegations of publishing false information, have been released on a 20,000 cash bail each as police continue to investigate. Well, we understand that Milimani Principal Magistrate Gilbert Shikwe ruled that the police application did not give compelling reasons to have them denied for 21 days. Well, the 5 are being investigated for alleged false publication, taking part in an unlawful assembly and creating disturbance in a manner likely to cause a breach of peace.
In our opinion, there is no compelling reasons as to why our clients should be held for 21 days, because if they are investigating on the false publication and everything, the matter is already in public domain. And number 2, because they already have in custody the phones of the accused persons. The accused persons, therefore, are not at flight risk, and so there is no compelling reason whatsoever as to why they should not be allowed to be released on bail.
His brother met his unfortunate demise during this protest, and the funerals are ongoing, the preparations are ongoing. And if they insist on keeping him here 21 days, pray tell, are we trying to tell him that he should not go and attend his brother's funerals? If we detain him here for 21 days without recourse and cause of justice, we also denied him a chance on humanitarian ground. I submit that the application fronted by the DPP is unconstitutional and should not even see the day of the day.
Now, moving on, a section of stakeholders in the health sector have sounded an alarm over the upsurge in hepatitis B cases in Baringo County. Well, some retrogressive cultural beliefs have been cited as the main catalyst leading to the upsurge. Elizabeth Etienne now reports.
56-year-old Florence Kiprono from Marigat, Baringo County, is among the 700 people who have tested positive for hepatitis B. However, those with the virus do not only have to battle the disease but also stigma, as many members of the community have associated the disease with witchcraft, which has forced many to shun away from visiting health facilities for treatment, leading to an increase in fatalities.
Sisi tulikuwa tunajua hii ugonjwa ni urogi, na ilisemekana hii urogi inabebwa na makucha hiyo dawa. Mtu akikukuta ukikula anakuwekea kwa chakula. Sasa ndio nilikuwa najiuliza, mimi nilitembelea mkutano gani ama sherehe gani ndio nimewekewa hii uchawi.
Baringo County is one of the counties with high prevalence of hepatitis B with 11.9%. Turkana and Migori counties also have a high disease burden of 16.8% and 10% respectively.
In Kenya, we have about 1.9 million patients with hepatitis.
Joseph Kemboy from Majimoto in Mogotio constituency is another hepatitis B survivor who recounts how he witnessed people in his village succumb to the disease. The underage were not spared either.
Na wakati tulipoteza mtoto mdogo karibu miaka 7 hivi, alikuwa darasa la 3 hivi. Sasa vile alipoteza uhai na kapatikana kuna hepatitis B, ndio sasa ikawa ni kilio kikubwa. Tukaomba county government ya Baringo, ndio wakasikia wakaja sasa.
We know that there is always the possibility of transmission of hepatitis to the unborn baby or thereafter.
In 2018, Baringo County was forced to conduct a mass screening exercise following an outbreak of hepatitis B. However, shortage of vaccines and lack of funds has led to the new upsurge.
Unfortunately, the vaccine is also a bit expensive because if one jab is around 250 Kenya shillings. You see now for 3, you need around 750 Kenya shillings.
NASCOP Director Nazil Ganatra says there is little awareness on cases of hepatitis B in Baringo, and NASCOP has set up a unit programmed to deal with hepatitis B in the affected regions. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that informative piece. Now, families of those killed in the anti-government protests now fear they might not get justice after all, especially after the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions announced that they had returned investigation files to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority for lack of evidence. While parents of Rex Masai and Evans Kiratu now hint at the possibility of a cover-up, as Samira Mohammed now tells us.
Tonight, families of those killed during the anti-finance bill turned anti-government protests are up in arms, especially after it emerged that they may not get justice for their loss. The family of Rex Masai, the first protester to be killed in the anti-government protest, is a distraught one. His mother, Jilani Munyao, fears that the current turbulence in the country has left them in a catch-22 situation as the only witnesses who can testify on the happening of the night of 20th June when Rex met his untimely death.
Anaogopa kutoa ushahidi kulingana na venye kuko sahi.
These plus allegations that the police could have engaged in a cover-up.
Aende afanywe hiyo postmortem. Ola long mtoto alikuwa tu hapo kwa hiyo bed yao. Ai, kufika ndani Janet hakuna risasi. Ilitolewa saa ngapi? Ati unajua mtu akishutiwa inapita nyuma inatokea mbele, hiyo ni kaili anguka kwa street.
For the better part of Friday, the family of 21-year-old Evans Kiratu, who died under unclear circumstances following the protest that started a little over a month ago, spent their day at the Milimani Law Courts.
Nataka kwa haki ya mtoto wangu ni uchunguzi wafanye uchunguzi ndio ijulikane mwenye alitenda hicho kitendo.
This is after Kiratu's uncle, who was arrested on Thursday while protesting the lukewarm approach by the government in finding their son's killer. It is this statement by the DPP Renson Igonga that was the straw that broke the camel's back and had them go back to the street to seek justice.
Now, a section of Kenyans have formed part of the ongoing annual Jalsa Salana convention happening in the United Kingdom, a yearly convention organized by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Prayer sessions dominating the event, and as Moige William reports from England, Kenyans in attendance are praying for peace in Kenya across parties for progress and prosperity of the nation. Take a look.
Over 40,000 people from all walks of life and from across the globe have gathered here. At Alton in Hampshire, United Kingdom, for prayers. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community, led by their spiritual leader, gathering in England for the 58th annual Jalsa Salana convention, an annual meeting by this community.
People who are serving you, you should just overlook their shortcomings. This is our moral standards. This is what the Prince Messiah wants from us. This is the teaching of Islam, and this is the practice and character of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Kenyans are also present with their prayers heavy on the situation back home, occasioned by the demand and long protest by the Gen Z.
Patriotism ni jambo la msingi sana. Kwa hiyo pande zote mbili, waongozaji na waongozwaji, kwanza ni lazima waangalia kwamba uzalendo ni jambo la msingi sana.
I think peace is very important. You know, if a young man loses his life, you know, demanding that corruption should stop or peace, that's a very, very sad thing. So for that, I think it's important that we have peace in Kenya.
Thing is that they have to be very careful, but there should be a major campaign about the corruption, otherwise you can't stop it. And it would be internationally.
As marking the official opening of the 58th Jalsa Salana of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community here in Alton. Where you read up for TV 47, Alton, Hemisphere, United Kingdom.
Sports news brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako. Chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybets. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 0000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia.
All right, so it's now time for some sporting action. Okay, now the Olympics 2024 official opening ceremony is currently underway along the iconic River Seine in France. Well, Team Kenya is amongst the over 10,500 athletes who are being paraded on boats. Now, the first time ever that this ceremony is being held outside a stadium. 100 meters African champion Ferdinand Omanyala and volleyball maestro Triza Atuka are carrying Kenya's flag at this event. Well, meanwhile, the Kenyan ambassador to France, Her Excellency Betty Cherwon, hosted part of the Team Kenya delegation for dinner on Thursday night. The national team is composed of over 40 athletes, over 15 women volleyball stars, over 15 rugby sevens players, 2 swimmers, 3x3 basketball players, judo and javelin athletes. Also in the delegation, which is led by Sports Principal Secretary Engineer Peter Tum, are doctors, coaches, team managers and referees. Kenya's free training is based in Miramar City, south of France.
Like I said earlier, she looks more of an athlete.
Paul, we love you because you have the athletes in Kenya at heart.
So let us conquer. We are in Paris. I don't think everyone has ever competed in Olympic Games in Paris. All of us that were here, we are here to conquer.
This is the epic of all competitions in the world. So by virtue of having qualified, already you are winners.
For us, working with the Ministry of Sports is a big deal because just the way they're dressed alone is not it. At the end of the day, we support the women at the bottom of the pyramid by them doing these ornaments, the ushanga, for the Olympians.
Well, I hope you'll be able to catch part of the opening ceremony. It's always such glitz and glamour and so much vava-voom right after the show tonight. And of course, we wish Team Kenya all the best. Bring home those trophies and the gold medals. All right, so let's move on. And the girls' football team from St. Alfred Alara Mixed Secondary School is ready for the National Term 2 games to be held in Kisii County next week. The Nyanza region champions are fresh from slaying giants Nyakach, and they are targeting to represent Kenya in the East Africa Games. Our reporter Alfayo Kombo spent time with the team and now tells us the secret to success.
This is St. Alfred Alara Mixed Secondary School football team for the girls category. They are preparing for the National Secondary Term 2 school games scheduled for the 1st to the 9th of August in Kisii County. They are fresh from dethroning Nyakach in Nyanza region. The team, which is based in Kasipul Kabondo constituency in Homa Bay County,
Sports news brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako, chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybet. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia,
Man, we apologize for that technical hitch on that story, but we'll probably replay it later. But that song, man, always has this kick to it. Sounds like Anguka Nayo. All right, so we're just about to take a short commercial break, but ladies, I have some great news for you. Well, Nivea has introduced a fantastic new skincare range just for us. How cool is that? Well, you're asking, what is it? Well, let me tell you more. Well, this particular delicious lotion provides 48 hours of deep nourishment and helps reduce the appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. Imagine that. Best thing is that it's perfect for beautiful melanin-rich skin, of course, giving us the care and attention we deserve. Plus, it also helps even out our skin tone and reduces dark spots, which we don't like at all, giving us that radiant look. And of course, what that means to us is that there's no more dealing with products that didn't meet our needs. With Nivea, you can finally care for your skin the right way. You should try it out and see the difference. Nivea definitely has your shade of beautiful. And I definitely applied it, this evening before I came to the studio. I do promise that. All right, so you know what? It's time that we take a short commercial break, the first one. And you know what? Tonight, I'm just so excited because since the show started, we've been hosting very high-profile guests here on the show. But you know what? Gen Zs were like, hey, it's now time that you also listen to us. And tonight, I'm just so honored. I'm happy. I'm so excited to hear, what they have to say. They've been out on the streets. They're talking issues, extremely eloquent, brilliant. And everybody's saying that the future of Kenya is bright. So we're going to be having them on set in just a few minutes just to hear them out from a very different perspective. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm
which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I was taking test.
This Friday with Betty, brought to you by Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care.
New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care. With 5 oils and 5 vitamins. 48-hour nourishment. Helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care. For your shade of beautiful.
All right, and welcome back to This Friday. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you for all the messages I'm seeing on my socials. Keep them coming. Well, we are just about to have a very interesting conversation. Sorry about that. But before we get to that, I know Willis would give me a beating for saying conversations. Let's just link up quickly with him to just say a quick hello. Willis, how are you? You're on standby in Kisii County. How are you tonight?
I'm fine, Betty, and I believe you are equally fine because from your talking or your speech, it's just getting clearer and clearer and tougher.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Willis. Tonight, Willis, we have, the Gen Z, the passionate, everybody's saying Kenya's future is in good hands because of how the young people are coming out very, very strong. I don't know what your sentiments are really about, this people who are coming out very stronger than ever before, having seen in this country.
Betty, I would begin by saying other times, other manners, and other things. Mm-hmm. Now, when you talk about the Gen Z or the Generation Z, you'd realize that they have proved that Kenya has a future where the brain talks more than the brawn. They are eloquent. If you listen to them talk,
yes,
then that power of the speech, clarity, the diction itself, you just feel, yes, this is where even the likes of Betty with their great English really belong in terms of communication. Betty, that is my take as Willis.
All right, Willis, the other thing, of course, we are just eager to know, apart from the conversation we'll be having tonight, what have you prepared for us on which is which? Which is that word that is going to be a surprise tonight, Willis?
Well, Betty, there is a word here, fairly long, or a mouthful if you like, and I know those who are testing their tongues with this word must be getting it or not getting it, because sometimes tongue twisters can really confuse people. But as I always say, it can be tricky but manageable, Betty.
All right, Willis, I really do appreciate it. Well, looking forward to the segments tonight. I've also seen quite a number of people asking, okay, tell Willis to tell us which is which, this and this. So looking forward to the top of the hour where we'll be coming back to you, Willis, for which is which. Stay put with us. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, having touched base with Willis, we're now just going to get straight into this conversation with this amazing ladies and gentlemen. I'll just basically introduce them, but I want you guys to also introduce yourselves. I mean, I've seen you here before. Very eloquent, these guys are so powerful on social media, and it's so great to have you guys in studio. So Zaha, I'll start with you. Maybe you can just introduce yourself very quickly, what you do, so that people at home can be able to know who are they talking to us tonight.
Okay, yeah. My name is Zaha Indimuli. I'm a human rights defender. I serve at End Femicide KE movement, but I'm also the executive director at a Mali organization.
Jeez, at what age?
I'm 23.
What? I mean, 23, I'm still trying to figure things out. You're all those things. Well, well done.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Duncan.
My name is Ian Duncan Kago Dibaba, Emeritus MK student leader. I've been working as a psychologist and also as a champion of mental health towards men called Come Let's Talk, and ambassador from Nasha Ministry International.
Lovely. So why men's health? Just very briefly.
Because we are the most left out in the community, and people we say we are okay, but you're not okay inside.
Okay.
We tend to keep things inside. So.
All right. Yeah. Lovely. Olive,
yes.
Talk to us.
Okay, my name is Olive Ambrose. I'm a beautician, makeup artist, and hairdresser.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
How old, if you don't mind?
29.
Okay, there we go. Duncan, you didn't tell us how.
27.
All right, great. Peter?
Hello, I'm Kibet Peterson, procurement and supply chain manager, and also a digital strategist. Yeah, I'm a former alumni of Mount Kenya University.
Okay.
And also one of the Gen Z.
It's like these days, it's like such a privilege to be called Gen Zs, yeah? Until the other day, I'm millennial, but, I'm like millennial, but, kind of like still Gen Z kidogo. All right, guys, I'm going to start this conversation. Probably I'll start with you, Olive. And the conversation lately, the last couple of, sorry, not Olive, but Zaha, sorry. The conversation has been like, do you still feel that the president is listening to Gen Zs right now with everything that is happening? Yeah.
I think it would be mediocre for us to say that anybody there is listening, and it's not really to put them in a place where we're looking like we're debunking on how to cover up for their places. But I think a listening president would literally have whatever the people are saying being fully manifested in the physical attainments of what he's doing in government. But here we are seeing a government that is literally doing the opposite of what people want. Rather, the things that people are complaining about is exactly what we're seeing implemented. And I think all the way from the beginning of the protest, going all the way to the fact that we are having the choir massacre, we're now having a situation whereby young people are actually a target. And when you see a president who's willing to kill and abduct and torturize his own children in the nation, as they keep calling us, which I also feel is very mediocre again, because the youngest Gen Z is 12 and the oldest is 29. So we're looking also at people who really don't want to centralize on the ideological spaces that we young people want. And so if it's a matter of us seeing the finance bill ended, the finance bill was ended, but we're not seeing that being replicated on a writing back to Parliament. We're seeing the Parliament saying that they're done with recess. We're back to discussing the same thing we just told them. And I don't see how it's so difficult for them to just get things right, which I think for us, I think I've been even on the medical spaces whereby you're seeing police actually shooting and tear gassing us at the medical tent when you're also having police officers receiving help. So we're dealing with people who are on stone cast that we really don't want to listen. And quickly the political class is also settling in to protect their interests. And we're having young people having to go back to the streets over and over again. So I don't think he's really listening. And if he is, then we do have a problem with communication.
Okay, interesting. Duncan, just coming to you. Of course, yesterday the bill was rejected with all its entirety, so it's not there. But do you feel like that's the end? Maybe the president's like, okay, you guys wanted this finance bill, out. It's out. Now can you let me work and make sure that the country still has unity and we can still forge forward in the next coming years before we get to the election date?
First of all, I think there is nothing like unity in this country. They're just putting it's about ethnical groups, like how many numbers do you have and how many numbers do I have. So what they're really doing is that they're calling people from different groups to come and join together. But what we're doing right now is like the Kenya that we want for the future. Like saying that this is the Kenya that we want as Gen Z, because we're getting married, never looking where you come from, your ethnic group, where you come from, how much money do you have. It's all about like what we want for the future and the future for our kids. Because we're going to get married Kenyans. I don't want to go outside. I want to live here in Kenya. I want to die here and everything. So when they're saying everything, they deal all the way with the bill and everything. When I take to look back, I'm like, if you look at the numbers that people like they have selected, they're just the old monkeys, man. They're just recycling people, you know, and there's no Gen Z representative there. There are no Gen Z. I think the youngest is 32 years old. That's a millennial, and no Gen Z even one. So nobody's listening.
Yeah. So you feel like Gen Zs would have taken any of the CS positions and actually ran with it?
Actually exposed. Yeah. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand what they're doing. Yeah. A lawyer coming to present people in industry of sports. What is he doing there? Doesn't even know what sport is.
He's not even sporty. Is he? I mean, it's just looking at the, everything that's been happening, and it's been almost like, 2 months. Olive, just coming to you, you said you're a hairdresser, you're a beautician, you're a makeup artist, like the proper, the things that, everybody right now is doing. What is it that you'd want, the president or the leadership of this country?
So for us, we feel like we're talking to someone who's deaf or someone who does not want to listen to actually actualize what the youth of his country are saying. Yeah. So I don't think he has listened to us at all. And the level of unemployment right now is very high for the youth. Like the youth have they're almost giving up. You see, so with us being jobless, you do not expect us to keep quiet and not talk about it while we see people living a flashy life, and you come and tell us we need to pay the taxes as well. You see, so we don't, the level of unemployment is very high.
It's very high.
It's very high.
So that should be one of the biggest
It should be one of the priorities, yes.
All right, Peter, that time you went to the streets, you went to the protests.
Sure, yeah.
You did?
Yeah, we did.
So as the very first point, talk to me about the reason why you felt like, for real, this time round, we have to go. And how many times did you go, and are you willing to keep going to this protest?
The first thing that is affecting this country actually is nepotism and inequality. People from low life are not represented. Our parents, the millennials, they have not been able to be heard by the government before. Now the Gen Z, we have risen up and we have said enough is enough. We cannot take this anymore. We went to the streets because our issues are pressing. For example, the economy of this country is really going down to the trenches. And when we talk, the president is not able to listen. For example, you see the representation in the cabinet that he recently appointed yesterday, the final 11, there is no even one Gen Z. That is like showing us almost, for lack of a better word, the middle finger. But the president should be able to listen.
Well, maybe not that, but...
Yeah, we feel that the president is not listening to us, the youths. For example, now you see the opposition is really reaping big from the proceeds of Gen Z.
Yes.
If we had not gone to the streets, the opposition could not have come to the government, and the broad-based government could not have been formed currently. Now we feel that there's still lack of representation from the youths.
Okay. Yeah, he's brought in such a big issue about a hijacking of the movement. It started from, now we have looters on the streets. It started as peaceful protests. Now we have looters. So that's why everybody has to get off the streets. How do you feel about that hijacking? That, it was a movement led by Gen Z. And then now we're seeing all these other, nominations being brought about because of this thing that happened, because of this whole revolution by you guys?
I think one thing we're not also getting is the fact that we really still remain leaderless. We remain formless, as they keep saying it. And so even when people hijack the movement is still able to carry on its purpose with or without opposition. And I think what they all did as a political class is that they united us against them. And I think for us, they made our work pretty easy.
Is it?
Because by virtue of
you can't go to the streets, like peacefully.
We can.
They're still, throwing the tear gas. They're still.
You see, the good thing about our era is the Cool Affair initiative. So we're also telling the goons, you go get the money. It's our taxes anyway. You go get that money. After you eat that money because you fully deserve it, get back to the streets. And you're also seeing a situation whereby in Mombasa, they paid guys to, fill in the presidential...
well, that is, we would not know, or, exactly.
So allegedly. And you see, the good thing about social media is that we're able to also see raw emotions from Kenyans. And so we're having people, honestly, even if it's alleged, you cannot be having people saying, hujalipa pesa yetu, out of nowhere. That aside, I think what we're waiting as the next public holidays when Raila Odinga actually fails the AU bid. Why? Because I feel like in this particular appropriate part, as people who have been put in place to be the watchdogs of the government, you cannot have the chairman of ODM joining the cabinet seats. And you see, for me, I was expecting, out of respect even to the Gen Z movement, is that these people are supposed to say, thank you, Mr. President, but no thank you. But we're seeing the political class actually associating itself with the precedents that we've had from the protest. And this is not the first time that's why we're saying this is Raila's fourth handshake. And so for us, we're not our parents, so we're very used to Raila doing his same old thing. We know that game. And we want them to understand that with or without the opposition, this movement continues to flow. Even if I, as Zaha, step away, Boniface steps away, this thing, people have been waking up to go to the protest without any call to action. And so I don't think they're categorically looking at the fact that we're having young people who have actually gone to school, who have had their degrees, who have done their masters, but it's absolutely impossible for you to exist in any single industry, in any single spaces, without you having that handout to give. And so we're not looking at who exactly is getting a cabinet position. By the way, I really don't think I care about who actually sits there. I just want you to be aware that I will keep you on your toes as you work for me, because it's my money. You see, the same energy they put in collecting our taxes is the same energy we are putting in actually getting accountability. So if our work and our process in the protest triggers, their mediocrity, their arrogance, because we're also dealing with politicians who are so opulent that you're having MPs telling us to our faces that I really don't care, even if you don't vote me out next time, I've stolen from me and my generation. And for people to have so much courage, it's a whole political class backing you up. This is the same politicians who we are seeing being caught with hundreds of millions. And you see, for you to say that it was very, very easy for them to get a helicopter to get politicians out of a protest, it was so difficult for them to get people out of the floods. For me, I feel like it should be a trigger for them to actually not see that we can see through the manipulation, through the empty promises, through the lies. I think it's just time they actually know that it's time to pack bags and actually exit.
Okay, well said. Duncan, do you think that, the Gen Z movement is kind of losing momentum? Because that has been a conversation the last couple of days, maybe even from last week, because the numbers that we were seeing when we started, or when you guys started, when the Gen Z movement started, well, we saw these huge numbers. But of course, because of maybe aggression from the police, it has kind of like slowed down. Do you feel like, Gen Z still have that momentum to keep going? I'm seeing there, there's Nane Nane coming up in a couple of days. Do you think that there's still that motivation for them to still go out? Or do you feel a part of them really has been affected by the president, like you said, not listening?
Actually, our adrenaline works very well, and the energy is there. A lot of energy is there. We have nothing to lose, actually. Because when you look at someone who
What do you mean like you have nothing to lose? That's a very strong statement.
Yeah. Because you see, when you have no sense of future, you have no sense of reality and what's happening in the country. That means you have nowhere to go. And that's a strong thing to say, like, we don't know where we are going. That's why we are going in the street. And when you saw the other time on the parliament, when someone was shot, people keep on jumping over and carrying the body. So like, we have nothing to lose. We're going there, and the energy is there. Because I think these people, they don't listen. They have not been listening everywhere. But now things will change. The narrative will change. It's the Kenya that we want. It's not that they want. It's the Kenya that we want. It's moving forward. So for me, I'm looking, it's like a futuristic thing. Like, we are going to set goals. We are going to have, it's a movement, it's not a political party. That's why people can hijack it and say, like, we own it. Nobody owns it, it's a movement.
But don't you think maybe, there's conversations of maybe it's time that Gen Z has a face that can go to the table and also negotiate for, okay, how about you give us this? How about you do this for us? But that as long as you remain faceless, there's no point of conversation, there's no point of negotiation.
What's that up?
I'm so triggered. I'm so triggered. And just so that I don't cut you short, because I know you have such an important point, and I bless your heart for that. But I feel like, you see, I don't need to be in a room to sit you in a meeting that would cost 100 million probably, because hospitality there is like tea is like $500. I don't need to be in a room for you to understand what you need to do. And you see, aside from even us as Gen Z, the Constitution literally tells you to direction what exactly your mandate in the office is. You know, it's very narcissistic, Betty. So right now we have a femicide case. It's very narcissistic for me to come and tell you, okay, don't kill me. So it's the same way I feel like it's actually very unusual that we have to come to the streets to tell you your priorities in the budgeting should be on education, healthcare, and maybe matters gender, because this country is also systemically unequal. We also have a very unconstitutional parliament because it's not fitting the 2/3 rule. We're also having the president giving us a whole cabinet list with barely countable women. So I feel like it's continue.
Okay, before we get to
what we need is actually a national assembly for Gen Z. We need to have a charter.
But is that possible?
It's possible.
Technically speaking.
It's possible, but when you're leaderless, because you don't want to say, I'm the one leading. You are the one leading. So if you arrest someone of us, you can say, that's the wrong guy you got.
So even talking about the representation, who's going to say, okay, let's send Olive, let's send Peter, let's send Zaha? Who's going to be that person who fronts these people?
All of us.
But we cannot sit
already in office. You know, this movement is to remind them of their job. It's so weird.
But how have a leader done? Don't you think that maybe there should be like a design so that there is a way to go up? Because you can't say like you're going to talk to all like 5 million of us.
They don't even talk to all of us.
They don't talk to all of us.
Okay, Olive, please, just speak up.
Like, for me, I think producing a leader right now, it will be like putting someone up for abduction, getting jailed and whatnot, because the people who are very vocal are getting abducted. They're getting jailed. Like today, someone was told they're going to stay for 21 days in jail until they were released.
Yeah, they were released. Yeah.
But then, if right now I come out as a leader, or Ian or Dan comes out as a leader, then it means it's like you're going up to be caught or getting killed.
But yesterday on the
whatnot.
news, there was a press conference by, I think you saw it, but by Casmil, I think Heso, Jerry. There's like a couple of people who now seemingly are coming out as the voice to the Gen Z, saying that, you know, these are our demands. So have they been fronted?
No, that's a correct word. They're a voice. So you see, just because somebody categorically is on the front line does not necessarily mean we have chosen any leader. And also, I think there has to be a lot of flexibility, honestly. Democracy is representative, and depending on what democracy a country chooses to take. I think even when we vote, it's all of us who vote, and then we put our categorical votes on one person, which I think is what people are trying to do right now. It's more of, it's an ideological movement. So whoever fits the barrier, because again, fronting a leader actually puts a barrier on every other potential person we might actually get to miss out on. So it's whether there's somebody today who's a spotlight, tomorrow it's Shakira, tomorrow it's Casmuel. All those small efforts are exactly what got us here in the first place. So fronting a leader becomes us repeating the same democracy system they have. And I think it's okay. When we get to the ballot, the person who feels like their potential candidate, we will scrutinize you. And if upon any particular effort needed, we will give it to you. But I think it's high time we stop looking at politics very linearly. People have done it better in so many other ways.
Peter, let me hear your voice about now. This movement has started. It's gained momentum, and people, you know, panicked. You know? So in the coming years before 2027, how else is the Gen Z preparing itself to make sure that, okay, fine, you've seen the political class can literally go to a corner, reorganize, do everything, and then come back and, you know, impose. So what is there a conversation that is ongoing about, okay, wase tuko hapa sasa, in the next 2 years or 3 or whatever, we need to now start doing 1 or 2 things to change the whole thing, not just protests, because at the end of the day, it has to have an end somehow.
First things first, Betty. As Gen Z, we are a movement and we are not a political party. The moment we front leaders,
so you're against fronting leaders?
We are against fronting leaders because when you front leaders, they will have a price, definitely. For example, you see Osama Otero. He just started a group thing.
Do you want to go there? I know.
Yeah, because he claims that he's one of the Gen Z actually, but he was bought.
Okay, well, alleged, this thing, we're not sure. We were not there when. You're sure?
Yeah.
It's alleged. We cannot be sure about that. We cannot be sure. But yeah, the story is known out there about what happened that day for the X meetup, but allegedly, nobody knows.
Yeah. Samotero allegedly was. Okay, going into...
No, let's not investigate that.
Okay,
let's focus.
Going into 2027, we need to form something like a charter, and we have to be a strong voice through having a movement. We don't want to do the same thing like our forefathers used to do and the current crop of leaders are doing. Like now you see the opposition has been government, and there is no opposition currently in this country. The opposition is the Gen Z themselves. And for lack of a better word again, there is no way these guys are going to show us a middle finger while we are seeing.
You're really pushing that agenda.
Yeah, because we feel that we are being disrespected as the Gen Zs, and we have said enough is enough. So going into 2027, we want to urge each and every one of the young youths and Gen Z to check their votes, so that going into 2027 we have a better voice. We'll vote in new crop of leaders and young people who feel our issues and can represent as well. Yep.
Okay, coming back to you, Zahar, just thinking about, just a follow-up to what he's just said. Fine, you get the voters' cards and everything, but what is the vision of a leader coming into 2027, for instance? For you to be president, of course, you have to be 35 years of age. So even if the Gen Z are feeling, okay, Ruto must go, there's still, it's not that, it's technical, it's more technical than that. So what also is your opinion with regard to just moving from this phenomenon of protests to something that is more concrete, about your voice being solidified, heard, and maintained? Not that it's a voice that's going to be like, wali protest zile siku za June, wameisha, sasa sio wamenyamaza.
So I think one of the few things that actually come out very strongly from this discussion is the fact that we forget also that Gen Z is a facet. Even our parents are identifying as Gen Z, courtesy of the fact that they're feeling progressively we're able to stand up for things that they never had a chance to. And we're also having our siblings who are millennials, also looking at people who have also had a lot of traumatic times. These are people who also experienced Moi, coming all the way to Kibaki. We're looking at a generation whereby I think we're the spark of the bloom, courtesy of the fact that maybe we're in a space also where it's not very linear to just go in the streets. And I think that's what I want actually to debunk. Reasons as to why I feel like progressively this is exactly what is supposed to be happening, is that as the protests are happening physically, protests are also happening online. And I'll give a very good example. In January, we did the End Femicide KE protests. Mind you, we never met. Everything was done online. And proactively, we were able to also engage people who would never even have understood what femicide is as a whole. And it gave a very good blueprint of what exactly digital activism would look like. And so right now, you're having a young person's generation that is very articulate in the digital spaces. We're also having the highest number of ICT fellas. So we're also looking at people who are not just on the ground protesting, but also looking at very, very many different facets of digital activism. A key example is Civil Rise. Civil Rise translated the finance bill to literal vernacular languages. So we had the finance bill in Kikuyu, the finance bill in Kamba. And I think that automatically, and that's why you're seeing a lot of Western countries are very interested in what is all happening in Kenya, because the movement itself is able to, we're also having Nigeria coming in, we're having Ghana saying they want to protest. So automatically when you have such a wave, even during the spring of the Arab, it is a matter of what is the ideological move. And the ideological move in Gen Z, I don't even think, trust me, we are buddies, you can imagine. So we really don't want her to be in an office, seated there, I promise you. So you're having people who are actually saying, I want you to get to task so that I'm able to be the best person that I can actually be. And so the transition that I feel would work would not just actually even us just only getting voters cards and going to vote, but equally understanding what my rights as a citizen in the country, what does the constitution provide for me wholly.
All right, Zaha.
And that understanding is then, I think it's the most beautiful thing about it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of, education, civil education, all over the place, even in the streets. I saw one in Jivanji.
Even shows are saying, reject the finance bill, which is powerful. We haven't seen that in such a long time.
Okay. So we'll take a short commercial break, but we're coming back to finalize on this conversation. I'll also take a look at what you're saying online, so don't go away. Stay with us.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind.
By Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care.
New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care. With 5 oils and 5 vitamins. 48-hour nourishment. Helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care. For your shade of beautiful.
Welcome back to This Friday. Thank you so much for staying with us. We've been having such an interesting conversation right here in studio, joined by the Gen Z, really, really brilliant, honestly, eloquent. You've heard them, and we're just gonna, get to winding up this conversation. And, Zaha, I want to start with you. If you're to be asked right now, or the right people are watching, what are the immediate demands? They don't have to be like, okay, this person must go, but what are the immediate needs that you feel the Gen Z need so that they can feel heard, that their movement has been appreciated and things will change?
Yeah. So in a very aloof way also, so because if we debunk gender, it's a whole other portal. We'll
need another show.
Yeah. So categorically, I'm looking at myself ever since I was a kid. I got to high school. I got to high school when free education was already retracted. So I'm looking at also parents who had to put a step in on an effort to pay my fees. Okay, fine, they were able to do it, but we're also looking at so many other Kenyans in trajectory who free education was ended. So we're looking at education not being a priority. We're also looking at a government that has removed 500 million from NHIF, and we're being pushed a universal healthcare system that categorically might be also very impossible to implement in a country where not even a lot of people have NHIF. So we're also looking at health. I'm also looking at the fact that farmers have just gone through an era of getting fake fertilizers, and we're having people not even being held accountable. We're also having a country where a law has been passed for you not to share seeds. So we're also looking at agriculture as a concept. And all these are just ideological things that even if you talk to Mama Mboga about it, it's not even too complex. I'm also looking at the fact that you're pushing people to ICT, yet there are no opportunities within that system. And you're also putting for us a CS who might also not have any knowledge. And also, let's even not go too far. As you know, education is a problem in this country. Look at the qualifications of the cabinets that have been presented. Some of them, the only thing you can say is that they're probably the former governor. The rest is you can't know, it's a legend. So we're looking at education, I'm looking at healthcare, I'm looking at agriculture. What I eat, what I think, and what I'm able to do as a young person, it's impossible in this country. And I'm also looking at places in Europe where 8% is the VAT and countries have free healthcare, free education, and here we pay 16% with so many other dividends to be cut off from your checklist and still having absolutely nothing. So for me, if I'm healthy, if I'm able to go to school and study, if I'm able to actually get food that is nutritious to my table, if I'm able to be in spaces where I can interact with the rest of my young people in a way that allows us to be innovative, I think that's a Kenya I would wish. I would really not also want to be held accountable by a government that does not also have accountability spectrums. The Treasury should actually remove all the unconstitutional offices, because again, that's also another hope. We're having 500, 600 million going to offices that the law, the court has said they're unconstitutional. 1.2 billion, Hanifa has been able to pay health facilities with less in millions. So I think prioritizing what would make a better human being out of a country is very important for me.
Duncan, what will make you less angry? As we wind up,
For me, just all people to go away. All people, like, I wish them death. Actually. No, in a good manner.
In a good way?
In a good way.
Maybe just, resign or leave office.
Not even resign, because, everything that's like bad in this country, actually look at us, the way we sit, the way we eat, we love each other. But them, they don't love each other. If you see what happened to this country, like some years back, they're all people's folks, like all songs, keep on singing. In our times, you should not do this, don't do this, don't do this. I would like everything to change, everything, actually everything. Because we have.
So you're saying we wait for 2027 for all that to be able to happen?
They are going home.
Clear.
We are in government actually. We are coming up, and we are going to sweep everyone, including the head.
All right.
The whole body.
All right.
Yes, you're going to do surgery.
So we watch this space.
Yeah, they need to take care, because what we are doing right now, they need to take care actually. Just watch what you're doing. But by the help of God, we're going to make things unforgettable. And I know my kids will be happy in this country someday.
Oh, wow. Well, wish you the best. That's very important. All right, Olive.
As for me, what will make me happy is to see a fully functional government, a fully functional system, and a fully functional system, because we cannot have, let's say,
You're marking your words.
I'm very cautious with what I want to say, because I don't know what will happen next. We need a system that can be held to account, and we don't want corrupt leaders anymore. They should be held to account. We want to see ESCC working. We want to see everything working to its full efficiency.
Okay. All right. Peter, as we wind up, finish for us.
We just need the young people. We need the government to do the right thing. We elected them it's barely 2 years ago, but we are seeing a rampant corruption, lack of jobs, poor healthcare system, And everything is just a mess.
Okay.
When the president elected his first cabinet appointment, when he did that, we, the Kenyans, had a trust in them that they were going to do the right thing and at least bring a better change and a different country, different Kenya, new Kenya.
Okay.
For Mama Mboga and mtu wa boda boda, the way president likes to refer to. So in this new generation, we really need the government to listen to us.
Okay.
If they don't have the idea of what to do as Gen Z, we are present to help them and to show them the way. 2027 is not far, and we are going to show them the door.
Okay. Well put. What better way to end? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Zaha, Duncan, Olive, Peter, for being with us. I think this is a conversation that cannot end. There's not even enough time to do it, but always there's a start to it. There's a start. And it's so great how to see, like, you guys are everywhere speaking about everything. So a big kudos. We could not do it as millennials. I think we're a bit traumatized with our upbringing, but, you know, I'm happy that you guys are doing it for us. All right, Peter, you want to read the news?
No problem.
Come. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just stay put, Peter. Where's my news before?
Not really.
Oh, just my news?
Bado.
Okay, this is gonna be your first time.
Okay, is it here?
Kitty Hapo. There you go. So, you said you studied for what?
Procurement and supply chain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought you'd read the news ever?
Not really, but I love literature.
You love literature? Yep. Like Willis, you know Willis Ocheng, the word master?
Yeah, I know the word master.
Lovely.
Okay.
All right, so introduce yourself and then take it away.
Hello, good evening, good people.
Posture first.
Okay.
He's even folding his hand.
Okay.
No, so you kind of like have to be like, you know, authority. Okay.
Is that a better?
Well, yeah, come ça, but just go for it.
Okay. Hello, good evening. I'm Kibet Peterson. Yeah, I'm going to read the news for you today. Let's go. The family of the 21-year-old slain protester Evans Kiraitu is calling upon the government and the President William Ruto to ensure the justice is served for their slain kin by ensuring their son's killer is held accountable. According to Kiraitu's mother, the family has not received any communications from the authorities despite visiting the IPOA offices and seeking justice for their slain kin. Kiraitu, who was hit by a tear gas canister during the anti-finance bill protest, lost his life while fighting for his life at the Kenyatta National Hospital.
Ile nataka kwa haki ya mtoto wangu wafanye uchunguzi ndio ijulikane mwenye alitenda hicho kitendo, na kama serikali inafuatilia aje ama inajihusisha aje kwa sisi familia ambao tumepoteza watu wetu. Waliua mtoto wangu na ndiye firstborn mwenye nilikuwa na matumaini mingi kwake.
We just need justice for my nephew. He's my nephew, because hii kitu yote vile hata nimesikia wakisema sijui mambo ya witnesses, hiyo ni kitu sijui inatokea wapi. We just need justice for Evans.
We don't want these killer cops to walk scot-free. They have killed our youth, they have killed our children, and we must take every necessary step to ensure they are convicted in a court of law.
All right, seems like you actually did a good job. Procurement officer.
Yeah.
So are you attached anywhere right now? Ukona job?
Not really. This is what we're actually fighting for. We are looking for jobs. There is no jobs everywhere, but we try to. I'm a freelancer also.
You're a freelancer. What do you do? Maybe if somebody has something that they want to, involve you in?
Yeah, I have passion for digital marketing, and that is what I do actually. And I do Forex as part-time.
Forex?
Yep.
Maboys of Forex, manze. Nile Forex mzuri ya milingine.
Forex. Yeah.
Forex as you know it. Thank you so much, Peter. It's been such an amazing time having you guys.
Thank you, Betito.
So you'll join the rest. I'll join you later. And then we'll take it away with Willis Ocheng from Kisii County. Thank you. All right, and let's get straight to it. Let's bring in Willis, the word master from Kisii County. Willis, it's great to see you've had how Kenya's future is definitely bright with all the brilliant, minds that we've had tonight. What do you think?
Betty, brilliance is an investment. When anybody is brilliant, when the society is brilliant,
yes,
when a country is brilliant, then things work very easily. And that is where we can celebrate as Kenyans. But one thing as a person and as a Kenyan who is, of course, also very patriotic, there is something that I have learned about all these that have been happening. I don't have a lot of interest in politics,
Yes.
but being tribeless as Kenyans, being tribeless
Yeah.
and going for Kenya's prosperity is a something, Betty, for every Kenyan who really loves this country. Prosperity
Absolutely.
for all, but being tribeless.
Tribeless. There you go. Thank you so much, Willis. And you're absolutely correct. That's why the movement has gained momentum for 2 months now. Well, Willis, let's get straight to our assignment of the night, Willis. And we have the test your tongue word, but I want to get straight to my words. Let me spell this one out. Lyrical. How do we go about that one?
Oh, Betty, you say li, not lie. Lyrics. Lyrical, not lyrics and not lyrical. So you say lyrical.
Okay. Willis, I can't even imagine there's somebody who would say lyrics, but you know what? Nobody is perfect. So let me be humble about it. Lyrics to the song.
As I always say, Betty, not even Willis can be perfect or spotless, because when it comes to matters of English pronunciation, Betty, we could do better if there were good or enough guidance that could reach everybody about pronunciation, just like the case of grammar and vocabulary.
Okay.
But do you know why people struggle with pronunciations, especially when it comes to English? Because there is little emphasis. So when we are young, we simply use what we commonly hear around us. Some of them are a bit, or they are inaccurate to get the right word, Betty.
All right, got you, Willis. You're right, and it's influenced also by the language you speak at home. Okay, so Willis, going to the next one. Do we say gestation or gestation? Which is which, Willis? Gestation, gestation.
In that word, Betty, the G takes sound J, the voice sound J. That G, just like in the word general, gender, generator, you say gestation, just like gestation period, not gestation period that we commonly hear around us.
Okay. All right, got you, Willis. Moving on swiftly, I don't know how to spell this one, so I will not even try it. Reverie. I don't know how to go about it. I wouldn't even, I wouldn't take a chance, Willis.
Oh, Betty, that is like daydream, when somebody has some excitement as they think about something to the extent that they're dreaming. So you say reverie. Reverie, not reverie, not reverie. The pronunciation is reverie.
Reverie, it is, I would not have, guessed it. I probably would have said reverie or something, but there you go, reverie.
Yes.
Okay, Willis, moving to this other one.
It happens, Betty. It happens to many people.
Okay. So, Willis, every election period, we always hear the tyranny of numbers. Is it tyranny, tyranny? How do we go about that one, Willis?
No, on this word, Betty, or on that word, you say tyranny, not tyranny.
Okay.
We have the person called a tyrant. A tyrant. So and so is a tyrant. But when you come to this noun where we talk of tyranny, we should avoid saying tyranny. Tyranny of numbers.
All right. So got it, Willis. Tyranny of numbers. This other one, do we say misogynist? Is that the correct pronunciation? We have it on the graphics on the screen. Is that the right way to go about it?
That is the way to pronounce that word, Betty. You say misogynist. Misogynist.
Okay.
So and so is a misogynist.
Okay, misogynist. All right, Willis, the last one for me is this word. Let me spell it out. SUCCINT. I will not try it, Willis. Take it away for us.
I believe you have accidentally left out an N between I and C, if I'm not wrong.
Got you,
and
for
you
sure.
must be talking about succinct. Succinct. That is a word that, its synonym is concise. That is succinct. A
Okay.
succinct explanation that was given during the session.
Succinct. Interesting. I would have probably said succinct.
Succinct.
But got you, Willis. Succinct.
That is understood, Betty.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, I
Willis.
think let me take now a look at those who sent in words throughout the week, and I'll not cover all of them because of time, Betty, but they know what we normally do. If we don't cover your word for tonight, then next week you have to be there for it. Now, we have Elias Dengo of Nakuru. You say impropriety. Impropriety, not impropriety. Impropriety. Just like propriety, proprietor. Now, Yusuf Galmogli of Lysamis in Marsabit, you say epitome. Betty, this is a tricky word. Many
Tell me
people
about
find
it.
themselves saying epitome. Epitome, no. You say epitome.
Epitome.
An epitome, not epitome. And you
Okay.
say albeit. Albeit, not albeit of the spelling. We have it, Peter Walker, ignominious. Ignominious. The stress is on me. Ignominious. Then we have at Macau Felicitas, you say tortoise. This reminds me about a certain time. Betty, do you remember? Tortoise.
Oh,
Not tortoise.
the good old days when this
Tortoise.
started.
So Macau Felicitas, don't say tortoise. But you remember it?
I do remember, Willis. It was one of the biggest surprises, honestly speaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Then we have Prince Vince of Vicar. You say duodenum, not duodenum the way we said it. It's duodenum. Duodenum and cecum or sesam also sometimes, but cecum is the best. Rehema Mambo of Mombasa, you say legit. Legit, not legit. Legit, common but wrong. You say legit. Thomas Kamau of Nyeri, you say jeopardy, not jeopardy. Jeopardy, that O is silent. Jeopardy, jeopardize, not jeopardy and not jeopardize. Belinda Nafula of Kakamega, you say apple. Betty, have you heard a small child saying letter A for apple? Have you heard something like that?
All the time, all the time.
All the time. You know, what we have, the letter is A by name, but the sound that it takes is what we technically or linguistically call the short, low front sound A. So you say an apple, just like arrow, not letter A for arrow. Letter A for arrow, letter A for apple. That is the pronunciation. Now, Achester Mwema of Kitui, Eric Opili of Ongata Rongai, Margaret Angano at W. Saula Daktari, Swale Amir of Juja, Hussein Magala of Iganga, Uganda. Our brothers and sisters in Uganda, we value you so much. You are watching everything on TV47. At Onesmus Gidinji of Nairobi, we also say thank you very much. Otherwise, Betty, I think it's time we can see how people, or listen to how people are testing their tongues. Or we go to our surprise word.
Let's get straight to our surprise word, Willis.
Okay, now, our surprise word. When we talk about something that causes a lot of trouble or suffering, just like HIV, please don't say scourge. Scourge, no. You say scourge with the long mid-central sound, scourge. Scourge, not scourge that we hear around us. Otherwise, can we try that other word? If not, then I have to display it and pronounce it for our viewers. Betty?
Yes, please.
I displayed it?
Yes, absolutely, Willis.
Fine. Now, our viewers, when we talk about something or an act or some kind of move that lacks some, care or something that is carelessly done in a lazy way, you talk of lackadaisical. Lackadaisical. Can you say it at home?
Lackadaisical.
Lackadaisical. Can you try? Well, nobody is perfect or spotless, as I always say. Otherwise, you should remember that you only get these, to be exact. You only get these when you get time every Friday night to watch This Friday with Betty, and the segment is Which is Which. And I'm Willis Ochieng. If you want to send any word throughout the week, you can use my X or Twitter handle, which is right here at Willis Ochieng1. You can also send it to at Betty M. Kialo, and you can always send to the talk of this moment, the talk of TV broadcasting at this moment at TV 47 News. Otherwise, back to you, Betty, in Nairobi.
Well, thank you so much, Willis. Well done, as always, giving us those proper pronunciations. We really appreciate it, Willis. All those lessons, the new ones that we keep learning. Yes, thank you so much, including tyranny. All right, so Willis, the White Master, always joining us right here on TV 47 every Friday, like he mentioned, 9 p.m. for This Friday with me, Betsy. So, you know, it's that time of the night that I say goodnight. We've had such a fantastic evening. And I just want to appreciate, of course, all the guests who joined us tonight. It was so fantastic. But just one last message before I leave you, ladies. And you know, I have some great news for you. Like I mentioned earlier on the show, Nivea has introduced a fantastic new skincare range just for us. Now, you know what? Let me tell you more. This particular delicious lotion provides 48 hours of deep nourishment. Imagine, not 24, 48 hours of deep nourishment, and helps to reduce the appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. You know how those stretch marks are always such a bug, such a problem. Well, best thing is that it's perfect for a beautiful melanin-rich skin, giving us the care and attention that we deserve. Plus, listen, it helps even out the skin tone and reduces dark spots, giving us that radiant look. And of course, that means there's no more dealing with products that are not good for us, that do not meet our needs. And you can be sure that Nivea definitely has that shade of beautiful for all of us, ladies. All right, so get it this weekend. Tell me what you think about it. Well, as you can see, the glow is for real. And that's what finishes our show tonight. I really do appreciate you watching the show, and thank you for the lovely ladies and gentlemen who honestly have articulated the issues so well. I'm hopefully going to be having them more and more in studio. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you watching at home. So see you again next Friday, God willing. Till then, keep safe, keep warm, and may God bless you. Good night. Bye.